It was my first live tournament since the start of the pandemic. I hadn't played live poker in almost 2 years.
While I'd been playing online on PokerStars for several months, which scratched the itch, there's really nothing like live poker. The sound of the shuffling of the chips, the peeling of the whole cards, the 10-second wait while two opponents argue who's supposed to turn over their cards first. Well, maybe not that. So I masked up and headed to Detroit to play in Motor City's monthly $300 100K guaranteed tournament. I played well and ran well. The experience I gained playing online was paying off. Next thing I knew, we were in the money, and soon after that, we were at the final table. 8 players left between me and victory. But this one guy, played by my dog Jack in this retelling of the story, had all the chips. He was taking people out left and right, and his ego grew along with his chip stack. We all know the type. And soon, it was just me and him left, heads up, ready to battle it out for the win. Before the first hand of heads up was even dealt, my opponent, feeling unbeatable with his 10-1 chip lead, turned to me and asked,
"Do you just want to take second place money?"
I was like, "What do you mean? You want to chop it?"
No, you can just take second place money. There's no way you're going to beat me.
I laughed, scoffed, and said, "Let's play." Within the first couple hands, I doubled up. A few hands after that, I doubled up again. I could see that my opponent was getting nervous, regretting the hubris he had displayed that only comes with a huge pile of chips. Soon, it was time for our 15-minute break. We had pulled even in chips, and I had all the momentum. When we came back, my opponent, knowing he was in trouble, asked,
"So, do you want to chop it 50-50?
He was sweating, getting desperate. "No thanks," I said, and onward we went, until we got to the hand. My opponent raised, and I looked down at one king and then another. Pocket kings, the second best hand in poker. I re-raised, and he snap went all in. I called. My opponent turned over pocket eights. I tabled my king-king. The flop came out clean. My odds to win the tournament increased. And then disaster. An 8 on the turn. A turn I'd replay in my mind for days, months ahead. A storybook ending would be a king on the river, but it was not meant to be. A few hands later, I was out, finishing in second place.
This could have been the story of the ultimate comeback, but unfortunately, that's just the way poker goes sometimes. But at least I made him sweat.